Hello. Welcome to another edition of Clutch Your Pearls with your host, Furious George. You're watching the fucking news, hashtag TFN. Darling, I want to talk to you a little bit about a PSYOP that I've discovered. I'm a costumer, burlesque artist, go-go dancer, social critic, a lot of things, cross-dresser. I do a lot of things, but through studying, as we do, we come to realize a lot of truths, a lot of things about ourselves that are very uncomfortable. And I think this is one of those things. I think we need to come to terms with the reality. LGBT plus, this concept itself is a PSYOP. Gay community is a PSYOP, a cult, if you will, a personality. This is not to demean anyone in this community at all, me being one of them. It's to make them understand that this entire thing has been orchestrated. It's been controlled. It's been manufactured, if you will. Not to say that our sexuality has been manufactured, but the way we think about it, the conceptual idea of it itself is the PSYOP. That's the part we struggle to understand, I think, in this talk that we have. I find it fascinating. It's a great quote from Gore Vidal. We created homosexuality in the 20s as a joke. And I think it is a joke. I believe that now. I understand it. Because it was never about sexuality. Nobody ever cared about that. It's always been fluid. It's always been its own thing, its own energy, its own cycle. People are attracted to people, not genders. The genders do exist, and they need to exist. They are the seventh principle of natural law. So we understand the function. However, the idea that we must separate ourselves by these labels that we've come up with for every unique experience that we have with another person, that itself is a means of social control, of social conditioning, psychological warfare. And now it's very plain to see that. I might sound crazy to you at this point, but I've noticed a lot of patterns and strange things. I'm in a lot of circles and do a lot of things with other people you'd be surprised with. And you'd be surprised who's in your corner and who isn't. You'd be very surprised what you learn when you expand your horizons. I know several live casters, such as myself, that are in the gay dynamic, that have made full cast about not knowing straight people. They don't know any straight people. I find that fascinating. As straight is a concept as well. What if a man finds a woman and a man attractive? What if a woman does? What if anyone does? These labels are a means of compartmentalization of sexuality, a means of control, a divisionary tactic. They get us accustomed to the neurolinguistic programming of these titles, such as pansexual. These things, these are very subtle attacks on your civilization. It's Orwellian newspeak. Euphemism, the death of language. That's what it is. And you can see it plain as day. And I think it's time we start paying attention to the things we think are history, his story. It's always decided by the victors. This is very unpleasant for a lot of you to hear. Sorry to have to be this way. Sorry that this opinion must be shared with you, to challenge you in this way. But I think you'll be better for it when you consider the possibilities and the resources, in the history, and the documents. And that's all that matters, the documents of where we were, where we are now, and the plans of where to go from here. There is definitely a conspiracy in the back, a grand conspiracy, more epic than you can even possibly imagine. And you're going to have to learn to fight it, one way or the other. And I wish you luck on it. I guess that's all I wanted to say. I wanted you to consider the possibility that even I, as a gay male, who understands what maleness is, who understands what attraction to other men is, and why we have it, I wanted you to get the concept of labeling as a PSYOP, labeling in general, let alone for us. These labels are not reality. They are not a basis of ideology, of ethic, of morality. They are simply labels. They are distinctions of character. And that is all. You're taking it too seriously. This is the PSYOP. LGBTQ+ is a PSYOP. And I want you to understand that it is. And I'm sorry that stings. This is going to get me a lot of flack, a lot of hatred, a lot of misunderstanding. And that is okay. It's just to make you think, not to do anything, not to act. That is of your own accord. I just want you to think about it. If you're secure in yourself, you don't care what label anything is. This is why men fight with women. This is why they do. Some men are divine masculine, and some women are not prepared for that. Some women are divine feminine, and some weak men are not prepared for it. This is the issue. There's a reason why there's multiple genders. There's a reason. But it's people-oriented. Every connection, regardless if romantic or not, is based solely on the energy that you have with another person. Your own personal energy. It incorporates your ancestors, your history, all of it. That's the point. Whoever you were attracted to is who you were supposed to be attracted to at that point. Male, female, or otherwise. This is how we work. This is how humans have always worked. The idea that we must care about these labels and their individual distinctions and their individual luxuries or privileges. This is the PSYOP. This is the PSYOP. It's when you stop caring about those things is when those problems go away. Is when you no longer have a rigid conception of a thing that you are experiencing. You must open your mind. You're not here to make any decisions. You're here to understand why you've made them. And that's it. Thank you for tuning in. I rarely do this on YouTube, as it is. We'll see how long it lasts. Another edition of Clutch Your Pearls with your host, Furious George. You're watching the news. The effing news, if you will. #TFN. See you later.